let's discuss the big moment, I would say the controversial moment of Checkmate USA versus India. The moment where Hikaru defeats Gukesh in the bullet portion and throws his king to the crowd. Let's take a look. You're like, what the fuck just happened? It was a fun moment. Obviously, a lot of people did not enjoy it. I did not expect it to become a thing, but I went to sleep that night, and in the morning when I woke up, basically Twitter was on fire, with people taking both sides. Obviously, some people were saying that it was just an exhibition match. The context behind it is that they were told that they should show this type of showmanship situations and emotions and play with the crowd, which Hikaru did, obviously. And the other side of it was somewhat disrespectful to do this to the world champion, and it seems like it's a cultural difference. Obviously, Indians seem to have a much more serious view on their craft and chess as a whole in general, which makes a lot of sense. And we in the West, and especially how this tournament was organized, there was a lot of showmanship and a lot of spectacle behind it and expected from the players. What's what's your reaction to it?
Well, to start with, I really like it's not my style to do something like that. Um, so it's not something I would do. On the other hand, since it's part of what you expect from this event, I don't really see the big deal. If that's how Hikaru celebrates, I certainly don't see it as disrespectful. It's not my style to do something flashy like that. Hikaru obviously planned it, and it was also the idea of the event from the organizers, and the players on Team India were told the same thing, sort of, that's the idea here. They probably would have also celebrated if they had won. Also, in general, Indians, pretty celebratory nation, right? I mean, not known for their lack of aplomb. I mean, they're so it is a bit funny. I think, like especially when they won the Olympiad, for example, they were celebrating big time there. Uh, I think that a lot of it is that we're looking at the internet, which is not a real place. It's all fake. It's all bullshit. Um, it's people trying to get clicks on Twitter. So I wouldn't read too much into that. There are going to be people who genuinely don't like this event because they think it's not how chess should be. Chess should be serious. I agree. Chess is a serious thing. There are a lot of serious events that are the main draw in chess. The World Championship is the main draw in chess. The Candidates is the main draw. These are events where people who play put everything on the line. You might have one chance in your career to become world champion, maybe zero chances for most people. You might have one chance to play in the Candidates, maybe a few if you're lucky. And people put everything in those events, and those events will continue. Then you have something like this where the players are just there to to have fun and probably to celebrate with their team if they win. Those two things can coexist. Actually, they probably should coexist. I mean, they probably do help one another, as long as we don't forget about having both. You know, if we think that this is the only way to have a huge crowd like this, then we will lose out on traditional chess, which with meaningful games, with storylines that last for decades or longer, right? Matches like the Kasparov-Karpov and so on, Fischer-Spassky. But if we can't allow a bit of fun, then what are we doing? So yeah, I also wouldn't read too much into the Twitter people. It's all fake. It's all nonsense. I saw that it starts as a culture war, in India versus America.
It did. It definitely did. It's actually getting somewhat serious. Like there's tweets with, I don't know, maybe 50,000 likes and stuff like that. So like it's
sort of
somewhat
like
popular.
Magnus, Magnus and Gukesh and Norway Chess. It's going to start some short storm on Twitter. I saw also like U.S. nationalist accounts posting stuff.
Really?
U.S. 150, and then it's all the comments are like "God bless America" and so on. But that's kind of the price of going mainstream on the internet or semi-mainstream on the internet. It's also not something we should really care about too much. Anyway, those are my thoughts on the event. I don't really see the big controversy. Nobody from the players, I think, had an issue.
Yeah.
I think, I can't speak for everyone, but
So you don't think Gukesh felt disrespected by it?
well, it would be. I don't think so, because it was part of what we signed up for.
Consented to, let's say.
Yeah, you could say that we consented to it. Also, if India had gone crazy after winning the match, which also India definitely had a realistic chance of winning the match if things had gone a bit differently, I wouldn't have minded if they celebrated. I would have kind of expected it. So throwing the king in the crowd, like for me, the way I was brought up, you never do anything with the chess pieces. They're kind of holy, right? I remember being scolded for putting something on a chessboard once. I forget, a stack of papers or something. You just don't. So that's my upbringing. I almost felt like when I tipped the king over, which I did because I was told that that's what they want. I almost felt a bit childish because this was like the kid thing to do. You remember the movies, right?
Yes,
in the
of
US, like you knock the king over. It's a thing that you stop doing when you're usually when you stop playing scholastic tournaments. But anyway,
It's basically for short
that's the
form
event.
content. Yeah, like you're going to be able to clip that and put it in a short form content and try to inspire, let's say, to inspire the crowd and make the event bigger. Which I think it's kind of the idea behind it, and it's the business purpose behind it, obviously. From a business perspective, do you think this project has a future? Like how do you think it's going to develop?
So I think with the project, the first two things are the product you have and the people who run it. And the people who run it, I thought they were serious. Mm-hmm. I think they also did a good job. And they took it seriously, and they produced something which people enjoyed. Both in person, definitely. That was very obvious. And I believe online people also mostly enjoyed it, if I disregard the controversy or
even the
manufactured.
king toss, without the king toss. Like I think it was a fun
I think
event.
people generally did enjoy it. So that they wanted to prove their concept. I think in that sense they did. Is it here to stay? I don't know. That's for time to decide. It's but I wouldn't be surprised if we see a number more events from them. Maybe similar to this, maybe slightly different. Maybe they have different plans. I don't know exactly what their goals will be, but we'll see. And overall, I thought it was a success.
Yeah.
You know,
Do you
I
think the event could become okay? Let's say it becomes very popular. Do you think it could transition from just purely an exhibition match to something with meaning on the line for the players? Like with
well,
actual, let's say they don't, give you an appearance fee. They actually put prizes on the line. Like the winning team gets 100K, let's say.
well, we did actually get something. We were given the winning team was given watches.
Very nice watches. Yes, yes, of
Yeah,
course. Yeah.
each watch had a value $7,250.
Significant. Significant.
Tag Heuer sponsored gave watches, 5 watches,
Yeah.
35 grand, right? Actually, it's not 100 grand, but it's something,
It's
right?
good. It's definitely
It's still
good.
something.
Yeah.
And so there was something to play for. Now, if we're talking about, let's say, each player playing for 100 grand, something which is, for some people, will be life changing, for some people, will be significant. Probably you should get the format and a few more essential things to ensure that the play is not affected by the crowd, which I think, of course, as I've said before, the crowd will affect the play. You know, they're being loud. It's good for the hype. It also, of course, can be distracting, and I just managed it pretty well, I thought, and Arjun struggled, and I think also you saw like Ethan Voss, young kid, seemed like a really nice kid. I had like a funny moment where I asked him if my nephew and niece can take a photo with him, and he seemed genuinely surprised, but seemed like a nice kid. If you saw his heart rate
It went
when
through
he
the
started
roof.
playing,
It was at
assuming that,
170.
assuming those things are accurate, to start a game when you're when you're already basically like sprinting, obviously the players were nervous.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So if we're playing for like really, really big stakes, then of course we have to consider these things because it becomes suddenly a very serious event where, you know, we're talking about maybe life-changing money for people, things like that. So that's for the future.
I love
Obviously, it was kind of low stakes. You know, we were playing for watches and for national pride. If you want to say that national pride was on the line. But yeah, that's basically all my thoughts on the event.
I love it. I love it. No, I think generally it was a success. This was one of the metrics that I always said that whenever it happens, this is going to be a great sign for chess. Whenever we are able to basically sell tickets and put butts in the seats in an actual arena, I think that's when chess could go to the next stage. Obviously, not from like a purist perspective, but more of a showmanship perspective.
By the way, if we're talking about the balance between a good show for the spectators, a big spectator crowd, and fair play conditions, I think the Grand Chess Tour final it kind of did everything right. They didn't have like live Valbar or commentary, but they had a very comfortable arena,
Yep.
a theater for a few hundred people to sit in. It was very easy to watch. The view was good of everything. It was technically well done, and the people enjoyed it, and they also sold out the tickets every
Yep.
single day.
Yeah, and I think
So
it's not the first time they've done that in Poland as well, and in Croatia they always have a pretty significant crowd. But it looked really good. From obviously I wasn't in Brazil, I was in St. Louis, but on the broadcast also it looked like a very nice stage.
yeah, I'm not exaggerating. It was a good crowd, and it's always funny to me when people criticize the Grand Chess Tour as like a no interest event. But in terms of live crowds, sometimes some of the more impressive ones have been, very often, some of the more impressive ones have been the Grand Chess Tour crowds.
100%.
Anyway,
Yeah.
we've gone through that tournament quite a bit.
Yep. Beautiful, Fabi. Excellent. That's more or less everything that we should be chatting about. There's a few events, maybe we'll get there in at a different time, but we've already went quite long on this one. So thanks for taking your time, and yeah, I'll see you in Fabiano's masterclass. Cheers.